start recording. Esra Özkan joined us from the recommendation of İsmail Hakkı Hoca. And basically she has some expertise in NFT marketplaces as well. And she's also working with DASDAS, which is, I think, a collective, right? So this digital art collective, I would say. You guys do exhibition design.
DASDAS is a collective space, it's a theater hall, but the X Media Art Museum is a museum. So we are work together, all of the digital artists and the coders and the the other digital art stuffs. So it's a private sector, actually. It's not an collective.
So it's basically one of the earliest forms of digital museums in Turkey, I would say, right? So X-Art Museum. Okay, so that basically means that you can also host NFT artwork, generative artwork, basically digital media, I presume, right? So any kinds of media that is generated by algorithms, by different types of tools. So I think you are kind of holding on to the contemporary position for the digital art. So maybe you can also share some of your expertise today. And I'm sure some of our students will be interested too. I'm trying to, like, the reason why I wanted to offer this course is normally we do this, like there's a parametric modeling course in architectural curriculum where we do like Rhino grasshopper tools, and we do parametric building systems, let's say. But I wanted to also change some of the emphasis from coding, from architecture onto other things, because I don't think architecture is limited to buildings only, right? We can have a lot of different investigations as well. And I think art is one of those fields too, because a lot of architects also are interested in art. And when we combine it with technology, with scripting, I think it can also be an interesting medium where they can also learn coding and see how they can generate art with it. Because there's also kind of a cliche understanding that art is kind of subjective, but when it becomes coding, how you think about generating things, how you think about like rules, that's also something to consider. Basically, like, how do we transform, or how do we translate that information onto a machine so that it can generate artwork, right? I actually did a presentation the first week of the class where I also covered some of the history of digital art, starting from the 60s. I showed some early mechanical work, experiments with plotters, early computers, but maybe you will have also some other examples to show. So I'm going to give you the floor, and let's actually hear you talk about this material. And I'm really excited to see also your perspective on it, so that we can have a discussion at the end of the lecture.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
For introduce. So hello again. Hello all. And I have been working as a curator and researcher in the art field, both international and locally since 2011. And I have focused my studies digital art as of 2015, and then I have been producing exhibitions of digital art since then. And my area of interest in artificial intelligence and bioart, and I have been doing my research projects on these subjects. Also today I will show bioart works. Also, my recent research area is relation between knowledge and information. The question is how to process data and the knowledge for media arts and also media history. And the question is discussion beyond explaining the fundamental differences between information and the knowledge can be summarized as a critical reading of the difference in terms of how it's used in the media arts, in the media like information includes data that we use consciously and unconsciously today, but it's data or content shared through various of media channels. And also knowledge is comparison of how data can be applied, and in this context, knowledge is used in interpreting, understanding, and using information. And also we can say that the internet came into our lives in the 1990s and the 20s, which were the years when the knowledge and information were used in media and all media arts up until today, and their own culture was created. So knowledge and information, so both of heard of media arts and also digital arts. So I'm a curator and director of the X Media Art Museum, but also I'm a curator of Samsung Turkey and an artistic director and a general coordinator of Istanbul Digital Art Festival. And also I'm work with the international galleries like Artemis Gallery in Lisbon. So first of all, let me introduce XMAM, I think, because XMAM is very unique museum, Turkey's first digital art and a new media museum. And the museum brings together the original productions, combining technology, science, and art, the new form of created by blending the past with present digital artworks with the audience. And in this way, the museum also presents new reflections of art that make the audience as a part of its. Thank you. And also in the YouTube channel, maybe we can show NFT biennial and the Leonardo da Vinci.
You can also share screen. I mean, go over this stuff as well. I mean, I'm like it will be great for our students to see this too. I didn't want to interfere, but
okay. Yeah, I can share.
It would be great for them to see the kind of work XArt does.
I'm sorry. Can you see my screen, YouTube channel?
Yes, we can.
Okay, here is the first exhibition. Okay. Comes to life again.
Ever experience 15 billion experience limitless creativity, making boundaries and reaching versus Vinci, wisdom of AI light, created by.
We are work with Arch team. Arch is an international media art studio. And also, we are the last exhibition is Sezen Aksu. I created and we work with a huge artist team and Suat Genç. And
anlaştınız mı? Hiç konuşmadan yarına inanma. Serçemde göz göze gelince.
The exhibition was very sensitive, well, actually. And lastly, our last project is NFT Biennial. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Well, the museum presents not just on immersive artworks. Also, we are focusing on the VR and the XR and also BO art, performance arts and the theater, immersive theater, and yeah. And lastly, maybe I can share the Istanbul Digital Art Festival. Today, the festival will take place in AKM.
Maybe we can take our students to the festival too.
Of course, of course, I'm very happy. The exhibition will open between 2 to 5 June. And also, we had an open call for the young artists, but after the earthquake, the systems change, everything is online, so we couldn't collect the artworks for the university students. But if you have a project in an e-media or digital art projects, please, you can send us
there's an open call.
Also, you can share I can share my mail, and you can send my mail, and I will share my team, and we can handle. Our creator is also artificial intelligence, because I'm very busy, so life is very hard. And then, okay, every year I couldn't manage it to create for a creator. So then we can talk with Bager Akbay, and thanks to Bager, because Bager create OpenAI, create a AI creator to work with me. So we are using a GPT-3, and also Bager, wrote something, and then I ask a question, and then answer me.
So it's a biased AI curator.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's configured by keywords.
Yeah, and then I edited.
Awesome.
Okay, I have to work. Okay, I understand. I can. Okay, yes, the creator. Here is the creator.
Awesome.
And also to this year, we are in the street creators. One of American creator is Julie Walsh. She's very amazing creator in the international area. Also in the local between an international area, I created And also the other creator is Avint. She's name is Avint, and she's an semi-Turkish, semi-Azerbaijan. It's very different crate. So this year, in the AKM, we are in the AKM. Yeah, here is the team. And also, I want to show Samsung Turkey. The platform is Dart. Dart is a unique platform. Samsung supports young artists. And so I created the exhibition, 25 cities, 11 cities, 25 showrooms. We changed all the showrooms. We included in the artworks, in the TVs, for phones and also tablets, where we used Samsung technical equipment. And the artist is Yonca Karakaş, Berkan, Berkır, he is a photographer. Fuat Değirmenci, he's a digital artist. And Barış Kabalak, Hakan Yılmaz, Hilal Özdemir, and the Uğur Acil. Uğur used the AR work because he's focused on the augmented reality artworks. So, yes, and
So Dart is kind of an NFT platform as well, or is it more like digital art platform?
well, actually not an NFT platform because Samsung has an NFT platform. It's a Neo. Neo is NFT platform, but the Dart is a digital art platform.
They also have a product, I think, called Frame, right? So you can actually visualize videos. It acts like a digital art screen almost. I think I've seen it. That's why it's no wonder that they're interested in this type of display systems and artworks. Because technically you can hang it to your wall vertically or horizontally, and it can visualize an animation or a video. It can also do slideshows. So I mean, that's probably it, right? Like new media art, basically, kind of the focus is the new media art.
Yes, it's true, but well, actually maybe tell about in the digital art subtitles, the first media arts and the algorithmic arts and the kinetic arts and the bio arts, data art, GIF, animation, illustration, illustrates some things, and the graphics. The media art is not only media art is only within the screen, but the digital art is not just only focusing the screen artworks or media artworks. Also, kinetic art, it's very unique one in the international area, and also bio art and the bio design, it's very new topic because this topic is about the biotechnologies between the artificial intelligence. And also, maybe, do you know Neri Oxman?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
There's also a duo. I often show them to my students here. There's a company called Nervous System in Boston, run by a mathematician and a biologist. And they also do innovative generative jewelry design, clothing design, artwork as well. Like I think they also develop their own custom design software. Neri Oxman has a team in MIT. They do bio-inspired production. So they generate kind of like synthetic materials or parametric systems that can simulate biological behavior, and they develop system structures with its surfaces, patterns. I'm familiar with her work.
Yeah, cool. Because also I'm very impressed to her because of the biomaterial is very important for architecture. So she's very intelligently combined with the bio stuffs and also the material stuff. And maybe I can, yeah. Last week you mentioned before, but maybe we can talk about it again. And the digital art history. The history is not a new, but when people are actually for the pandemic, thanks for the pandemic, because of people understand the digital and then the digital art and then ask oh, okay, here's a digital. When they use watch and also Bluetooth headsets, so also using use the Zoom and the online systems in the pandemic, and people understand that, oh, okay, there is one thing, it's called is digital, and then they wonder about the digital art. So we are work with the digital art stuffs in the public space after the pandemic. So today people can understand easily how digital arts improve and improve today until today. And nowadays the adjective digital seems the precede how we define most things we experience or interact with in our daily life, and an art is no exception. So the concept of digital art is fairly new, that's why it is, and it's appeared in the 19th, but has its roots in early experimentations with the digital tools in the 1960s, like here, maybe Aaron machine, and in the mid 1960s, the concept of computer art started building inside the art community. Artists like Friedrich Nietzsche used their background in the computer science to generate drawings with algorithms that could produce different layouts of shapes and elements to achieve artworks based on the nature of logic and change. But once was also called the media arts, was meant to expand beyond to still images by the end of the decade. An artist happens found of outlet in the fit. And now digital art can be computer generated, scanned, or drawing, and then using a tablet and a mouse, in a computer, it changed everything. But in the 1990s, well, I would say thanks to improvements in the digital technology, it was possible to download video onto computers, and and then artists manipulating the images they had filmed with allowing the cut and the paste within. So today, we are telling about immersive spaces like in X Media Art Museum, or maybe we can talk about art technology. I can share maybe Artec House. You know Artec House? Did you heard about it? No.
Which one?
Artec House.
No, we can show it.
Yeah, I can. Here is also America. It's a very big space. Just no, not just too big, but in the the screen size is very big. Articles in Miami and New York, and also other one is Atelier de.
I'm also sharing these links.
Okay, Atelier de Lumières in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
They combine with the art history to the digital art, like Cezanne or Dali or Picasso's artwork. They produce a film, like 25 minutes experience film, and people inside in the exhibition, they feel, as a part of the artwork. That's why immersive experiences and the immersive technologies provide us to understand how can we feel part of the artworks.
Maybe we can have a discussion about this, because I have a lot of questions actually, and I'm also wondering, because you are working with the artists, working with the galleries. I also want to learn about your precision. For instance, we can stay here maybe. I'm really curious about, like I've seen this type of exhibition style, or let's say digital artwork, emerging from the 90s actually, right? There were also a lot of digital architects experimenting with sensory data, movement through space, and how people can interact with sounds, with images. And now we're actually seeing more immersive technologies like Google Glass, I think started, and then now it's becoming augmented reality, juxtaposition of physical space with digital space, right? And I'm wondering what it means for the physical space, because technically speaking, we here, for instance, like the space is now a white box, right? And I think the discussion of the white box is also a theoretical discussion in
white cube, like not white box. It's the
white cube, but now we are inside of it. So normally we see an object on it, and we are outside of it. Now we are getting inside of it, and the white box is around it, around us now. And then we have a lot of projection to it, right? So it's almost seems like we are inside a cerebellum of some kind, like we're inside the mind.
Well, actually, the true word is extended, maybe, the breaking in the consciousness side, and change our mind, in an inside an artwork. So how can we feel to new experiences?
So it seems like I'm also trying to be a bit critical of this, but it seems like surrealism on acid, right? So there's a lot of formlessness in it. Like the box has a defined geometry, but what we are projecting onto it is pretty fluid, right? It can be anything. I mean, it's no wonder that we are seeing kind of an animation of Dali on the on these, because we can actually visualize anything technically.
But it's not just only visualize, it's the film. We are like Sezen Aksu artwork or or Dali, any artworks. Well, firstly, we wrote a role map and the scenario, and the synopsis. And then we are think about it, the experience side. But before the experience side, we wrote all of the artworks and the motion graphics and the sides. We're planning every steps of the film like a real film. It's the new version of the film to making a film. And then after produce it, and we are testing for the clients, for the visitors. We have to walk in the inside when film ended, because when we walking in inside, we are looking at the around. Sometimes we are feeling very bad, like I don't know the word, mide bulantısı.
Nauseated, like nausea.
Yeah, nausea, and or
you mean people, guests inside of the space had like physical reaction to it, like they were overwhelmed by the projections.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, absolutely, like that would happen. it's epileptic as well, right? So there, if you have
Yeah.
so much flickering information to you, coming to you, that might also cause nauseated, upset stomach, all kinds of physical
Well,
symptoms.
actually, that's why the artists produce not easily. It's very hard to produce immersive artwork because of the scale and the floor. It's very hard actually for the experience side.
Yeah, absolutely correct. I mean, I think there's also a predicament. Like this might sound a bit cliche, but the reason why I'm looking at the historical lineage of it is because this type of artwork emerges with technology, right? So if there's a technology that is being developed, let's say it's a projection technology, or let's say it's augmented reality glasses, then it justifies the type of artwork that can be created with it, right? Because we have such technology, now we can project this onto a wall or onto a surface. But technically speaking, we are not generating technology based on the type of artwork we want to create. The relationship is reversed. So technology guides the type of artwork that is going to be created. I think I'm kind of critical in that sense, right? Because it feels like we are still looking at animated canvases, like as if we need something, some sort of flat surface to visualize something. But it doesn't have to be like that when it's immersive, right? We can occupy the digital space. It could be three-dimensional. We don't have to project anything technically.
Well, actually, I think the issue is about only, Europe side. In the Asia side, the question is not true because the artists, well, actually, clearly, in the Europe side, we are telling and introduce about all of the technologies.
Yeah.
Not only idea of the artwork or issue of the artwork, but in the Asia side, or the Iran, in the Cairo, in the Egypt side, there is on the main reason is the issue, and then artists only using art techniques. And
it's techniques.
It's the technique that I have a problem because of my artist, and I have some problem, and I want to make an art with the technology. It's okay. In the Asia side, it's okay. But in Europe side, I have artists. I have a problem, but I want to tell more about the technology. And it's a lending issue, I think. Like in Turkey,
I mean, there's so much to discuss here, like the ethics of creation of artwork, right? Because the reason why I'm bringing up technology is now I have a like $50,000 projector. I can generate anything with it, right? It just justifies whatever I want to put inside of it, and it could be anything anyway. And if I tie it to some sort of a cool concept, then it's basically trivial. No, it's just, is it art or is it just technology that we are looking at?
Well, it's just the technology. Right? If you don't have any content, it's in a beautiful or clear content, you're just talking about the technology. But you have content, you have a problem, you have an issue. It's okay. 2 weeks ago, my friend says me, do you know artificial intelligence has a problem? Do you know? It's oh no. I have a problem. And I wrote my problem in GPT-3. So, but it's my problem. Artificial intelligence,
You mean like it doesn't work properly? That's being a problem, or is it more like?
Well, artificial intelligence has no problem. Problem is my problem. I write something.
Oh, you just define it with a prompt to the so that it can solve it, right?
So that the question is, okay, how artificial intelligence make an art? Because the problem, where is the problem, or how it image the problem, So it's very complicated, some stuffs, the technology and the artificial intelligence side.
Yeah, so it's an interesting discussion actually. I watched a few podcast by Sam Altman, the developer behind OpenAI, the CEO of AI, and he talks about ChatGPT and other types of systems like DALL-E as well. And there's a discussion in AI community called AGI, artificial general intelligence, and some people speculate that ChatGPT 4 is an AGI. I completely disagree. I don't think we know what intelligence is and what consciousness is yet, and I don't think we can pinpoint to how it could be simulated by a machine yet. It's, I think, beyond a simple Turing test, to be honest. And Sam Altman was pointing to an interesting fact, saying that if you type in a problem to ChatGPT, it can provide you the solution because it basically has an advanced search and learning algorithm running behind of it. But if you want it to create something new, it doesn't know how to do it yet.
Yeah.
Right. So it's an important distinction, because technically speaking, we also don't know how we create things. How much of it is behind background knowledge or noise that we create in our heads, like
And
especially in the creation of art.
Intelligence. The main question is about what is the intelligence?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how to pinpoint it to it yet. Yeah. So this seems to me like ChatGPT is a really advanced tool or technology, but it's working pretty much like on top of like a Google search algorithm, right? So it's basically compiling information and presenting it to like a text or prompt. And if we I basically work the same way. Like before, for instance, it generating any code or scripting, I would basically type in the problem that I have to Google and go through forums or like programmer websites where people post kind of a solution for it, right? And then you try to find the optimized solution, and then you kind of copy it and then see how you can implement it. Now, ChatGPT finds the solution and then writes it for you. So it's basically getting to that information a lot faster than we used to. So that's, I think, one way of approaching the problem solution. But I think, to me, it will be more interesting if it can generate something new, right? So I also experimented with Midjourney, and Midjourney also works almost like a pattern recognition system. Like you can type it in a prompt and it will basically make a collage, like an advanced way of formulating a collage and a segmented data, and then it blends those images so that the images look actually a lot fluid than we want them to, right? That's also, I think, a drawback on the type of algorithms that are implemented in how they work. So I think they're kind of promising, very, very interesting fields, but I don't think it's still doing what we want them to do. Like, it's generating something new, but based on kind of how the algorithms work behind. And I don't think many people who use them know how the algorithms work.
Many people also don't know the algorithm systems. Many people don't know the information and the knowledge. You know, there isn't too important stuff. Information is a data. Knowledge is not a data, is a knowledge. And also in Turkish, it calls bilgi. You know, information is bilgi, knowledge is bilgi. Okay, her şey bilgi. Everything is bilgi.
It's all knowledge.
You know, this main problem is in the Turkey. You know, all of these bilgi. No.
There's also bilişim. Bilişim, by the way. Technology.
Evet. Bilişim. Okay. Yani, I think we have to explain the important two words in the generative arts or the generative stuffs, information and knowledge, and we have to improve these topics and to, you know, develop something about in just only two words for the media arts, or, you know, for the media. And then I think changing something. Yeah.
What about metaverse? I mean, the reason why I brought up the white box discussion is because technically speaking, like just yesterday I was watching again the Matrix, right? The first time Neo plugs in to the Matrix,
Yeah,
they put him in a white white area, right? And they call it the construct. So technically speaking, when we get into these spaces without the projections working, it's exactly the same. It's a construct. It's basically an abstract white cube, right?
Like my museum in the morning.
Yes. That's perfectly correct.
Yeah.
I feel like that it cannot be in another way, right? So it needs to be cubic because it's in a physical space. And then there are projectors that can project anything onto it. But technically speaking, it doesn't have to be in the physical realm. We can put an augmented reality or virtual reality goggles, and we can go into the digital space, just like Neo is going into the Matrix, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what that means, like that distinction between the physical and the digital, what that means for the future of museums, what that means for exhibition design, what that means for immersion. I mean, I'm wondering if you have any personal take on that.
Okay. Well, actually, in digital is not only online. Did this mean online? Digital, it's a binary, you know, in the 1111101, like that. It's only combined and it's on a digital side. But we have to use in the physical area for the exhibit digital artworks. Because of digital artworks, not only new media arts, it's the kinetic arts and the algorithm arts. But when we want to open in the online side, like metaverse in an exhibition, we are using a mouse, you know, we are using a keyboard, and it's a hardware. So we have to improve our hardwares for our feelings on the internet. I think 6G, people called Internet of Sense, like an IoT. So in the digital size, when 6G come in our daily life, our experiences will change. You know, only on online side and the physical side, it doesn't matter. So I'm an artist, I make an art, and if I want to exhibit in the online side, I'm thinking about it, the online experiences, and maybe you know, it's like UA. Do you know UA? UI, user
interface?
Yeah. We have to users, and I'm an artist and I have a work, and I want to, you know, exhibit in the technological stuff like an AR or the VR in the immersive space. Also, I have to think about in the experience side, in the physically. But in today, we don't have, we don't, you know, clearly mix it. So maybe XR technologies and the 6G will combine in the physical and the digital size. Truly is a true way.
I mean, the closest thing I remember to that is the 4D experiences that I had in Orlando. You know, there's like also I think Disneyland has the Universal Studios, like they have these rides that you get onto, or you're in a cinema environment, and the whole thing moves, and there are pressure sensors, there are air blowers, and you're watching an animation, and based on the animation, it kind of reacts, right? Creates kind of other types of sensations or smells or sounds or like vibrations. So I think that they're trying to also build it into a streamlined experience. But I'm not sure, like when we have 6G, we probably need more interactive devices, right? I remember like in science fiction, there are a lot of movies, like one of them was like Surrogates. It's by Bruce Willis. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but people like get up in their houses and they get into this pod and they plug in. It's like it's not like the Matrix, but they connect themselves to an avatar, like a physical avatar that goes out of their house and into the wild, basically, because the city is now like not safe for humans. So they are moving around with it in their avatars, and they can sense everything with their avatar sense, right? So it's almost like a metaverse version of it in the physical world. It's the same thing. So I'm wondering, like, what that holds for, like you said, 6G experience, immersive design, and whether we can have other types of devices that will basically react or give us other types of sensations. I think Meta is also working on such technologies. Like, it's not just visual contact, but it's also like other types of senses. And I think Mark Zuckerberg talked about how important it is to actually look into one's eyes, especially when you're having a virtual meeting, like on the Zoom. We actually don't look at the camera, right? I'm looking at the screen right now, and nobody has eye contact, and that affects how we communicate as well. So one aspect of it is to actually build the technology that can accommodate it. But the other aspect is also, like, when we get into a meeting room with, you know, all kinds of different avatars, different clothes, animals, whatever, and then it's like, what are we doing technically? Like, it's just becoming a game environment, like Fortnite. Right? That's also the other part. Like, maybe that's why, like, these computer games are so interesting for people, or they get hooked on it because they get to be something that they're not in the real world.
Well, actually, the Second Life they wrote 3 words: explore, discover, and create. And these 3 words is very important for in this time. And plus, when write the sense will change all explore, discover, and create some stuff. You know, I think maybe think about it in the worlds. And also, I think there is a big problem. There is another big problem. My husband is a film director, and they use in very huge technologies and huge cameras, like in 16K, more than 6K camera. He used it, and then they at the end of the film, you know, and it's okay. It's the film is ready to the cinema or the watching in a TV. Our TVs is 4K or HD or full HD, but you know, in the film stuffs use 16K. So we don't see, you know, real reality because of the technical equipments. You know, it's all of the problem is about the technical equipments, I think. In the physical side, in the online side, it doesn't matter, because of technology is running fastly without technical equipments, or our ideas, or, you know, created some things running very fastly, but the equipment in also society is not ready. It's you know, it's problem, I think.
I mean, it's also like for instance, this AI technology, it runs on ridiculous hardware, GPUs, and nobody gets to actually have that type of hardware in their household desktops or laptops. That's why these are web-based, right? So it's using kind of the network to access the hardware. So it also makes me wonder, like, maybe we are not going to require that much hardware in the future. It's going to be hosted somewhere else. I mean, I'm still using my older computers. Like, I'm not bothered by improving the hardware capacity because the type of work I do doesn't require it technically anymore. I think it's beyond the point where the hardware acceleration doesn't need to be in your desktop per se. It can be hosted on the web. We
Yeah.
have a lot more AI like online technologies now, and I think it also makes me wonder like what kind of interfaces could be generated, because or what kind of devices, technologies could be generated. I mean, this is all I think a great discussion. Like it can go in many different ways. I want to like stop here because I think we are running out of time, but I want to ask our students if they have any questions for you. Maybe they might want to ask you some questions about digital art. I'm also excited by this opportunity for them. Maybe they get to develop some digital artwork that they can send for this year's digital art exhibition, right? Maybe
Well,
that.
I'm writing my email addresses in the chat.
Yes, I'll share this information with them, and then so you're planning on hosting this exhibition early June, I guess, like you're planning for it still in Atatürk Kültür Merkezi?
Evet.
Yes, so okay, 2nd and 5th June, so we might probably join it, because I think that's kind of our last week of the classes.
Also, we will organize a panel and talks and the kids workshops, and also Vager Akbay will give an artificial intelligence workshop 3 days in the AKM. Next, I think next month we will announce our plan in the festival plan. You can check on the web or on Instagram, and if you want to exhibit your work, you can send me, and
Okay, awesome.
I will share team.
Awesome. I think this is also a great opportunity for them, because they get to do something apart from architecture, like building, but they can do something creative, and they can also get it maybe showcased, exhibited. There are a lot of possibilities here, right?
Yeah. Also, I have an exhibition on May, Contemporary Istanbul Foundation. The exhibition name is Meta Knowledge and the Rhythm of the Algorithms. So I'm focused on the information and the technology and the feminism studies and the non-human studies. And I have 12 artists, and 5 artists in international and the other artists in the local. So there is one architecture from London, and Levent Özruh in architecture. He using an algorithm for his artworks. So I will share the dates and also invitation to the exhibition. Maybe Levent talks about in the architecture sites following the exhibition days. You can join us, and yeah.
His name is Levent Özruh.
Yeah, Levent Özruh Mimarlık.
He also does 3D printing, I think.
It's true. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting stuff. A lot of things to discuss. I'm really happy you joined us today. Let's see if any of our students have any questions. You can also write in the chat. You can ask Esra any questions you might have.